In a world where Twitter leads the headlines and the 24-hour news cycle forces people to choose sides, we're here to help you cut through the noise and discover that the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Hosted by entrepreneur, author, public speaker, and regular media contributor Seth Denson. Subscribe, share, rank, and review. Welcome to Somewhere in the Middle on the Real News Communication Network.
Yeah, I should turn your mic on. That would be wise of me. Yeah, hold on. Wait for it. There it is.
Hey!
Yeah. Hey!
Welcome back, everybody.
You want to just restart that? We can run with it if you...
Hey, just run with it.
Great.
Why not?
Yeah, hey, perfect. Great.
You don't want to take it down and then bring it back up. I mean, hey, listen, this is real life here.
This will be great in my quarterly review.
No, you're good, man. Hey, listen, you're due one. I mean, goodness, Andrew at least does a dozen a day.
Once a dozen. That's me. Once every 12 episodes.
That's all right. Hey, welcome back, Andrew.
Hey, thanks.
Oh,
I always feel so valued here.
Hey, for those of you who didn't hear me, I was welcoming you back another week, another Monday. But hey, we had microphone. I thought maybe that was I'm cut off. I'm done.
That's it. Time's up.
After last week's episode on kneeling, the executives got together and the higher ups and said, enough's enough. We're done with this guy.
That disclaimer in front of the show just isn't enough anymore.
But just one more time, we're going to let him in the booth for nostalgia purposes. We just won't turn his mic on.
Every week that falls.
You got to put a quarter in the side of the slot there. That's gives you another hour.
Well, hey, listen, welcome back, everybody. Glad to have you with us. I got Zach, I got Andrew. We're going to have some fun today. I'm looking forward to this topic. So last week, we made the comment that if anybody had any ideas about a topic that you wanted us to take on somewhere in the middle here, something that you wanted us to talk about, that you thought would be interesting, and something that you wondered where maybe myself or Zach or Andrew landed on something, to send it in to us. Send us a message. And by the way, I'll make that same offer out to you, our listener, this week. Send us a message. Go to somewhereinthemiddlepodcast.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook. You can find me at Seth Denson on Twitter. Listen, there's literally dozens of places you can try to get a hold of us. So get a hold of us and give us a topic. Give us something you say, hey, where do you guys land on this? Or, hey, I'd like to enter this into the conversation. Let's have a conversation about this. So we made that offer up last week. Mm-hmm. And we got some responses.
Ooh.
And the winner is marijuana.
The devil's lettuce.
A jazz cigarette.
Which, by the way...
yeah. Or a left-handed cigarette, for those of you who are looking for something.
So, I'm the absolute worst person to take up this topic. It's hard for some people to believe.
Yep.
Never.
I did not inhale.
I say that to people, and people immediately do that, and they say, "Oh, okay, it's 2018." You're saying no. Secondhand, absolutely. I smell it anytime I'm in California or Colorado. Sure. I smell quite a bit of it.
As soon as you fly in.
Where were we? Jenna and the girls and I were somewhere not long ago. I think we were in Colorado. We're walking down the street, and of course, Arabella, my youngest. I'm writing a book, by the way, another book, and it's called "What's That Stink."
That's the name of the book?
It is. It's a children's book. It'll come out later. I'm going to work with Tammy Kling and On Fire Books on this because they're a great group, and they're helping me with another book that'll be released later this year that I'll plug on another episode. But once I get done with my real Change the World book, then I'm going to work on my children's book, and it's going to be called What's That Stink? And the reason is Jen and I are going to work on it together. And we're excited about it because this is something Arabella says. My 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And 2-year-olds have no filter, by the way. They'll say that anywhere.
In a way, it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
But, when you're in church, maybe not the time to ask, Daddy, what's that stink? And,
that's fine.
But anyway, so we were in, I think it was Colorado not long ago, and somebody's toking up, right? Oh, yeah. And I hear, Daddy, what's that stink? And I'm like, ooh,
how to address this?
Yeah, baby, don't worry about it. Let's just go. Walk faster. Go. Yeah. So anyway, yes. So I recognize that a lot of people aren't going to believe this. God's honest truth, though, I've never touched it, and it's just not something that I've ever had a big desire to try. And it is illegal, and I'm not. Yeah, I get that there's layers. So is speeding, and I do a lot of that. I get it. Don't call in and think I'm calling. I'm not judging you if you do it. I'm just saying that there are certain things that others do, and this is just one that I've said, I'm okay.
This is not the Elon Musk podcast from 2 weeks back. We're not gonna.
Did you
not gonna light up?
Did you watch that a couple
Joe
weeks ago?
Rogan.
Yeah. Man. You know his stock.
I was hoping
like,
you were going to walk in here and be like, gentlemen. No.
Yeah.
No, but I am noticing
anybody?
you got a drink over there, Andrew. What is that?
So this was provided. This is Rocky Mountain High. This is another podcast here from the great folk at Real News PR.
Yeah.
RockyMountainHighBrands.com. Let's see. 100 milligrams of hemp seed extract.
Do we need to call you an Uber on the way home?
Maybe.
I don't know.
What's in your water
don't leave that in
bottle?
your car. If you get pulled over, just don't explain it. Because right there on the front of it, I know that's what I noticed. It says 100 milligrams hemp.
But no THC.
It says it real
also
big on
right
there.
there.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
THC.
Oh,
All right.
gosh.
Is this a new thing? Everybody's got Red Bull now. You got hemp water.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Do we drug test at our office? Maybe we should. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Ooh, well, you got him now.
I
Yeah.
know.
Red. Look, I'm turning red. This is awkward.
I know, right? So anyway, back on here on Earth. I'm not the guy that should probably take up this topic, although I kind of have some hot thoughts on this.
Well, you've got an objective opinion because you're not committed either way, right?
I'm not. I'm not. I get it. Listen, there's some people I really love and adore that have some fun with marijuana every once in a while, and I love them nonetheless. Just like I love the people that speed down the road or knock off banks. I don't know. I'm kidding. I don't. But I'm just saying, I don't know anybody that's knocked off a bank. So just full disclosure.
Just
I don't
get
know where
that
the
out
show's
of the way.
going. It's a marijuana episode. I guess it can go anywhere.
Are we high?
Right.
I feel like-
For anybody,
I did have some Mountain Dew.
For anybody who's not tuned into the video, just watches the audio, I'd encourage you to check out the video of this one because Andrew, we get some great shots of Andrew just mugging the camera with that can.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Do you think that good folks at Rocky Mountain High are going to reach out to Andrew as their new pinup?
Well, they could.
God, I hope not.
Hey, we're taking sponsorships. Slip us a resume. How about that?
You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe we can arrange that. Let's have the Rocky Mountain High guys on.
RockyMountainHighBrands.com.
I know. Maybe we should reach out to them. You think Crilly could
See
set
if we
that
can
one up?
see if we can Beetlejuice them onto
get
this
Josh
show.
to
Yeah,
make a
maybe.
couple calls,
You might be
but-
surprised.
And
Yeah.
we'll take this episode up. But anyway, so I digress.
Yes.
Marijuana. Where do we land on this?
So I guess there's a couple layers deep. You've got completely illegal, so no, none, not at all. Then you've got medical, so that's arthritis, cancer, AIDS, and then you've got recreational. So you've got California and Oregon Oregon, Washington, Colorado are the ones who have decriminalized marijuana.
Okay.
Yes, that's for recreational use.
Got it.
And then surrounding the country, there's some medical exemptions in specific states I don't have offhand, but those are the four that have done it recreationally.
Okay.
California and Oregon are also notable that they have a process in place to backtrack convictions. So if you were convicted of marijuana possession in Oregon 5 years ago, there is a way to expunge that from your record now with essentially partial time served. They're working on. They are working on. Oh, settle down. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I didn't even switch to his camera because I was asleep.
I was just trying to set up the base.
Well,
because hang on, hang on.
It's important to have a base. I got
But you have to set this up because when people, the argument is for weed or no weed, for cannabis, no cannabis. What are we talking here? Some people are for medical but not recreational?
Okay.
So that's where I was going with that. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
So where's your landing? Come on here.
Where are
throw
you
this back.
going with it? Like, are you for it or against? That's all I want to know. I mean,
I'm
are we
for it.
smoking out or what are we doing?
I am all for it with a couple of restrictions.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go there.
Okay. One of the ones that we've talked about offline.
Pregnant women.
Ooh.
That would definitely be a no because it's not recommended, but they are, unfortunately, allowed to do it if they wanted to. I can't stop them the same way I can't stop a pregnant woman from drinking.
It wasn't what we were talking about off record. It just came to my mind, right?
Right.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Well, in the same way that a pregnant woman can have a bottle of alcohol, she probably shouldn't, but she could.
Right. All right. I'm sorry. I listen. This is the off the track episode because
Right.
I mean
You're
we're
trying
talking
to
marijuana.
You're trying to take my legs out there. What
Right.
was that?
I shouldn't have wore a suit. I honestly shouldn't have.
Well, how could this be this show if you weren't wearing a suit?
Well,
So
I know, I get it, but
Yeah.
maybe I should have, I don't know, worn a ball cap backwards or
T-shirt.
maybe the shirt I slept in last night.
I got a baggy hoodie with holes in it you can wear. How about that? Yeah, perfect.
Gentlemen, you are being quite derisive. Good Lord.
Derisive.
You're just calm because you're drinking some hemp over there.
That's what's going on.
Anyway, all right. So let's get back. Again, this is
I know,
off
we're
the
off the
rails.
rails here. Okay, hold on.
Where are we at?
So again, I would say recreational is fine with a couple of restrictions. Those restrictions being something like we have to have a minimum age requirement.
Okay.
You know, I don't want a 14-year-old doing this. And driving. I mean, the same way that you're not supposed to drink a certain amount of alcohol and then drive a motor vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get high. You cannot get altered and then drive a car.
Mm-hmm.
That's not allowed.
Uh-huh.
For obvious safety reasons.
Okay.
That would be some of my restrictions.
Those, outside of that,
I mean, just to start,
Toke it up.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
Really?
But things.
you are
but,
from California.
Nah, bro. So, but of course, then general restrictions like please don't smoke it in a restaurant, don't smoke it in an airplane. You're talking basic courtesy.
Okay.
Come
Sure.
on, somebody
okay, yeah,
help me
I'll
here.
jump in.
Yeah,
here.
please.
I
Yeah.
also
Well,
agree.
again,
Again, I've made it known. I have this, and you'll learn about this here in a minute when we talk about where I land on this. I want to hear. I want to hear what all the rage is about.
Yeah.
I am not speaking
Right.
from an educated perspective on this. So
I think that's the first place to start. You need to start with education.
Okay.
You got to explain to people what this is,
Okay.
and how it works and how it doesn't. Let's get some science. All right, get the boys to the lab. Let's get them together and say, guys, let's put some things in test tubes and make it happen. What do things do? What do they not do? Because I don't really know. Is it medically advantageous or is it not? We need some kind of. I guess the Food and Drug Administration would be those people to sort that out. Or
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
There is one lab in Mississippi that grows all of the marijuana that is used in FDA testing. One.
in Mississippi,
It's in Mississippi.
the mighty Mississippi.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where this pot farm is grown, and all medical marijuana testing from the federal government comes from this one pot farm.
Yeah.
So the problem being, in order to have something passed by the FDA, it has to undergo tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of clinical tests.
Sure.
how do you
Plants.
sign up for that? By the way,
I don't know. You show up with some Cheetos? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But so obviously, it's going to be a long time coming for the FDA because we don't have tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of plants available at this one facility. So there's two pills that have been not FDA approved, but the UK and the European Union have approved of them that contain THC, just two. And again, it's an issue of large-scale testing. We don't actually have large-scale testing done of clinical studies.
okay.
Yeah.
I do wonder. I think there's probably a subsection of society that thinks that all marijuana is bad. Right.
The Jeff Sessions of the
That's
world.
right. It's safe
Good
to say
people don't do marijuana.
Right, and it's safe to say that as an American citizen, like that is totally okay for you to feel that way. You can feel however you want. Of
course.
Please do. But we got to figure out. Let's all kind of figure out where a general same page is, so we can point at it at least. We don't have to be on it.
Vegans
we just have to
think
know
cheese
there
is
kind
wrong,
of is
right? So I mean, I'm making your argument.
No,
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I think there has to be some kind of general education. And do we decide that, hey, this CBD stuff is good and that THC is bad? I don't know. But like, we need to figure out where that is because right now we have states that are actively pursuing this, and we have an FDA who doesn't know what to do about it and can't test it fast enough.
So then, how about we start with a middle ground? If we were going to do this at the federal level, what would be the
somewhere in the middle?
On somewhere in the middle, what would be the first steps? So let's identify that marijuana can have some helpful properties. So it can, for example, increase appetite and reduce nausea in cancer patients.
Okay.
It does. So if you smoke marijuana, you get hungry, it reduces inflammation.
right, and you're less
Awesome.
likely to vomit. Great.
Yes. So then, how about I would say I'm okay with a cancer patient smoking marijuana. I would not say that they are a bad person. Can we find some common ground on that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure,
So
yeah.
right off the bat, that there are always you can't just say it's all bad. Like
Right.
we can find spots here, but I wouldn't want, and except in a medical case, you don't want someone under the age of 21 drinking alcohol because it affects their growing brain. I don't want an 18-year-old smoking marijuana. I would want you to be 21 or 25. I would actually push for 25.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. No,
All right,
okay.
there's one side.
I'm starting to get where you're at.
I would push alcohol to 25 too, but I'm a grouchy old man like that.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm watching a tennis match between two people who want the same outcome.
Yeah, but you do have
I mean,
to.
I don't. Yeah, we need somebody here to argue
I know.
for the sake of the other side, right?
I
You want to Jeff
don't
Sessions
have
it up
a
in
dog
here?
in this hunt. I don't. I honestly don't. I mean,
Sure.
so what about the argument that it's a slippery slope?
To what?
Okay.
What heroin? I don't know.
No, that it's a
Right.
gateway
A
drug.
gateway, yeah.
Yeah.
I would want to see. I would want to see firm scientific research on that because that's been said for a long time. It's a gateway drug, but is there actually? I don't know this either. I would want to see the scientific proof on that.
Right. The basic argument, I assume, is anything that alters your state of mind will encourage you most likely to pursue something that will further alter your state of mind.
Well-
right. That's the starting point of the slippery slope.
I don't know. You've been probably drinking alcohol since you were 21 and never a day prior to that. Have you slipped into Coke or meth? Has that happened yet?
Deny that. What? I'm sorry. What was that?
So
Meth?
I said so. You've been drinking.
Did you go straight to meth?
I did. I went.
Off of-
I said Coke first. I'm saying you've been drinking for 10 years. Has that led you to then start doing other things?
Made me a lot younger. I appreciate that.
We're getting going.
No.
And-
Is the answer to my
Right.
question.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident in that.
I would say
Yeah.
the average person who engages in alcohol, or cigarettes, doesn't necessarily go down into hard drugs. I don't know how the whole gateway thing is supposed to work.
Right, but it alters your state of mind.
Yeah.
And in the same way, the assumption is with marijuana, well, it alters your state of mind. So if you like that, you'll love this.
My wife
And
drinks and I become pretty. That's how that works. I'm sorry.
I had a point. I lost it. I'm sorry. Somebody want to pick
Thanks
up
for
that
joining
ball?
us,
Yeah, I-
folks. Today, that's our show. You have been somewhere in the middle, and Andrew won't be back next week. No,
There he goes.
not because of me, because of Katie.
Right.
You better hope you keep her from watching
So,
this.
so if the FDA can't test this stuff fast enough, and we have states that are actively pursuing it, how does that work? How do you have states leaning against the ideal of the governed body politic?
Well, that's the whole argument of states' rights, isn't it?
Because that's where I start to fall a little loose. I'm hoping you guys can help me
No,
out. there.
I mean, listen, this is the challenge, and I think that that's perfectly fine. The challenge that we have here is to reverse states' rights.
Excuse me.
You've got
Reverse
the-
states'
Well,
rights.
you've got the federal government effectively making a mandate over the other states, saying we're not going to allow this. Right. So different than most things, where states, the federal government stays out of it, and it's up to the individual states to make their determination on whether or not we want this to be allowed in our state. This is the opposite of that. This is the federal government saying we're out on this, and that effect should, trump anything. Yeah, Trump. Anything that the states want to do, because we as a federal government have made a determination that we think that this is wrong. And so, but this is different here, because this is states like Colorado, like Washington, like I think Arizona or Nevada just legalized it, and I think more and more are doing so.
Yeah.
Of saying it's still wrong federally under the federal government, but we're going to do it anyway.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Is this the
sound like
next Civil
something I
War?
would,
We're going to
yeah.
have it over. Lighten up.
I wouldn't think that was something states can do. But
Well,
it
they're not
is.
supposed to, but I think that's one of those things that, again, if you are in Colorado, where it is perfectly legal, lawyers right into the show where I'm wrong here.
Here it comes.
All right. If I'm in Colorado and it's legal at the local level for me to smoke marijuana, it is still illegal for me at the federal level to do so. And if I am token up and an FBI agent sees me, they absolutely can apprehend me.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so the President Obama administration, they kind of had don't worry about it, we got bigger fish to fry. I forget they had an actual term for it, but it was kind of look the other way, which is look.
We're not enforcing this deal.
Yeah, like we're dealing with trade and economies and all sorts of other things. Don't worry about the guy getting high in Vegas. We're not worried about it. And now Jeff Sessions in this administration has said, no, we're cracking down. We're coming after these places. But that is a problem, because if I were a dispensary owner, I own a building, I pay taxes to the city in cash, by the way, because you can't electronically move marijuana money. The federal government counts that as drug money.
Yes.
Right.
So you have to pay all your taxes in cash, by the way.
Which
That
they
works
still
out really
take.
well.
Big bricks of cash.
They still take that cash.
They do. Oh, absolutely.
To run it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
So,
it's fine. It's fine.
But now you have your address is on Google Maps. The FBI can Google pot dispensary. They have
Yeah.
Google, and they totally could come in and shut you down, arrest all of you, send you to federal prison. They can do that.
Do we have any stats on, so Colorado's had this out longer than anybody else, right?
Yes.
What's life like in old Colorado outside of it's just rather stinky most of the days?
Rather relaxed.
What's that stink?
Well, I've got a couple of things on some of the predictions that were going to happen and then what has actually happened. One of the predictions was if you legalize marijuana, there's going to be more crime. which is you're going to legalize this.
Because when I think of tokers, I think of those guys that are
right.
not,
That
knocking
reefer
off a bank,
madness.
right?
Yeah.
Violent crime has been down 10% in Washington and Colorado. Now, I'm not saying
Is there a correlation there?
I'm saying that's correlated, not causality, because for sure allowing marijuana did not make the crime rate drop. But it does prove, however, that crime did not increase. There was not this sudden influx.
Bad people don't care, and they're doing something else, is effectively what you're saying.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Gotcha.
Which, on that exact note, accidents and impaired driving incidents would increase. That was the thought. The people are going to get high, they're going to get in their cars, and it's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a little true. There has been an increase of 2.7% attributed to cannabis.
Attributed to.
Yes. However,
2.7.
2.7.
So out of every 100 accidents,
there's an extra
7.
Yeah.
There's 2.7 more.
It's about 3 more car accidents out of every 100.
All right.
Not actually a large number.
Okay. All right.
However, traffic deaths have dropped 11% on average in states that have legalized medical marijuana. And one of the thoughts here is that when you're high versus when you're drunk, you are so hyper-focused. Like not like in a I can drive better when I'm drunk kind of way, because that is stupidity. And I'll say that. It's that they're driving slower, they're making fewer lane changes. It's a different effect on your body. So they're getting into less fatal accidents, more accidents, but less fatal because of the nature of their alteration. Although here's a weird one, you would like this for healthcare. Colorado saw a 6.5% reduction in deaths resulting from opioid abuse, which bucked
Really?
the previous 14-year trend.
So in other words, if I have access to marijuana, I'm less likely to try to go get fentanyl.
Yeah, because you're feeling good off this non-lethal thing, and you cannot overdose on marijuana. To date, there's people who had bad trips. I have friends who have told me of their bad trips when you have too much or you ate too many edibles and it got you all at the same time.
Sure.
But no one has died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it
Zero-
cannot kill you shy
zero
of wandering
deaths.
into traffic.
That we know of.
Yes.
That anybody's done. Yet.
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody's died.
Okay.
And
Okay.
This all comes, by the way, from a government website. This is drugabuse.gov. This is a aggregate of. So this is the administration's website. This is not weedtokers420.com. This is drugabuse.gov.
So counterintuitive to the theory that it is a gateway drug, that it will encourage you to go out and get bigger, better, badder drugs. It does the opposite. It locks you down. And you're like, I like where I'm at. It's kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of the Prohibition, I guess, right? Like people couldn't get alcohol, so they just made their own.
Yep.
And like then that leads to moonshiners blowing up in the woods, right?
Yeah.
No? Am I...
No, because now it'll be regulated, right?
Well, yeah, I think this is the other thing I want to make sure in kind of I want this to be a short episode because I don't really want to spend an hour talking about this. I want to learn more about it though, which is why we're talking about it.
Right.
But is this in this? Let's talk about the cartel aspect of this.
Sure.
Ooh, okay.
Right? I
All
mean,
right. Hadn't thought of that.
you mentioned about the moonshiners.
Yeah.
And now kind of what the cartel's doing? I mean,
I don't know, I guess.
They're modern day
Yeah,
moonshiner with bigger guns and
Yeah.
a lot
Essentially,
more
yeah, you're producing
detrimental ways
something
of
you
doing
can't
it.
get.
As I start to think about this, again, I'm coming at this from a person who has never tried this, and I really don't have a dog in the hunt. So if it can help somebody that's got a medical need and there's medical value there, just like with fentanyl, okay, let's have that conversation in moderation if that makes sense. The medical thing is a no-brainer. I don't even know why there's so much taboo around that personally. However, the recreational side of it, I mean, there's the argument of we got to help people help themselves. Well, you know what? Then keep them out of Walmart, letting them buy, unlimited amounts of cheese puffs. I don't know. I mean, we can have this argument on and on about your own responsibility. It's when it comes into harming another. But in the absence of it being legal, where do people go to get it? Well, they go to illegal places to get it in those states that it's not legal. And those are oftentimes supplied by the cartels. So why are we not having a deeper conversation about that piece of this?
Okay, wait. Is this like the gun debate? That if you take guns away from good people, then only bad people have guns. Is that what I'm getting out of this? If you take marijuana away from good people, then only bad people have marijuana?
Well, I think I'm just going to paraphrase here. I think what you're saying is it's better for me to go to CVS and get this than some dude in a back alley.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm saying that things are connected in this world, right?
Sure.
And if marijuana in, I don't know how many, 44 states or whatever it is now is still illegal. It's illegal from a federal perspective in all 50 states. Mm-hmm. And therefore, in almost all states, it's illegal to grow it. But in all states, it is illegal to grow it from a federal perspective. You see where I'm going here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That means that leaves us somewhere where we can... Where do we get drugs from? Where are they manufactured, generated, produced? The cartels.
Right.
Is there any middle ground on the fact that the cartels are a bad thing?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think so.
No. Yeah. Right? So if we can, in effect, by legalizing something, take power away from the cartels, again, I'm going to say this, and somebody's going to say, well, legalize crack. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the argument that I was making at the beginning of, at what point do we start to end down this slippery slope? If you're going to make marijuana legal, why not meth?
Because the guy sitting on the couch high eating Cheetos is not hurting anybody, and he's not hurting himself.
Okay.
How
do you know he's not hurting himself?
I'm trying to.
I mean, the Cheetos might be the thing that's hurting him most, right? I mean, but I mean, hurting himself from a health perspective.
On a health perspective, in the same way, marijuana does a little bit of damage. It's inhalation of a smoke. It's not good for your lungs.
Right.
So is tobacco.
Brain cells.
Yeah.
But I don't know the scientific evidence there. But I've talked to some people that smoke a lot, and something's going on there.
Marijuana does impact the part of the brain linked to motivation.
Okay.
So those jokes about just like being lazy, that is true. Actually, it does have a chemical effect on your motivation centers.
Right.
And these days, sorry, cannabis folk, marijuana is addictive these days. It is different than the strains it used to be in the 60s and 70s. Snoop Dogg will tell you it's not addictive, it's not habit forming. That's actually not true anymore. The strains of marijuana these days are much stronger. Point of fact, National Institute on Drug Abuse shows as many as 4 million Americans meet the diagnostic criteria for marijuana abuse disorder.
4 million?
4 million.
Okay.
So there is a problem here, but again, that's because it's not regulated.
Okay, but let's go back to the original thought here. If on the premise of let people do what they want to do, the guy that's inhaling smoke obviously could be getting lung cancer. I mean, we can talk about the health side effects for this, but what about those people who say, well, listen, opioids don't really do anything. They make me literally pass out. So why not just make opioids legal?
Opioids kill 115 Americans every day. Marijuana doesn't.
Right. Marijuana's track record is zero.
So there's a line in between those 2 points somewhere.
This is the argument, though, right? This is what you hear is from a slippery slope perspective. Again, I'm not making a statement on this.
Course.
I am by no means trying to draw a correlation between the health benefits of opioids versus the health benefits of marijuana. I'm just saying this is the argument that I hear.
Right.
I would say it's the lesser of two evils then. It's the lesser of two evils.
Okay.
If you're smoking a joint, you're not downing Vicodin, or not necessarily, but one will kill you, one won't. One can kill you, one won't. I'm gonna go with the one that won't.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I know people draw the correlation, but about alcohol.
Yeah.
I could go to a liquor store right now and buy enough alcohol to make things stop. Yeah. But marijuana, what are you gonna do? Take a nap?
You literally can't kill yourself on it.
I don't mean to. Yeah, I don't mean to say. Well, that's
sorry,
the extreme.
Everybody that we're making fun
that's
of
the bar of quality that you can't hurt yourself with it. But
so what needs to happen then?
I don't know.
I mean, so what? Again, we got more and more states voting this thing in. Most of the constituents, I think, are saying, "Hey, listen, we don't really care. Bring it up." Federal government won't.
But that's change of government down. No, I don't know.
And again, I'm the guilty party here. I don't. In my mind, it's always been somewhat taboo. Again, I'm not making a judging statement on people that do it. I know a number of people that I'm making it sound like all they do is sit around and smoke marijuana. They don't, but they recreationally use it from time to time. I've known people who medicinally have needed it for quality of life, I'm fine with that. I don't see a problem in that. So why has this become such the taboo point that we can't seem to find some level of common ground here? So let me speak as the Republican in the room.
Okay, wow.
I wasn't going to take it there, but
Let me put my elephant hat on and
There you go.
take my donkey hat off, and
I'll put it on.
Think about this for a second.
There you go.
We're always liberals are always looking away for raising revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Why not tax this stuff? So I'm speaking to my fellow Republican brethren out there. Why not? Again, tell me where I'm wrong here. But if we have the opportunity to take power out of the hands of the cartel, and we have the opportunity to increase revenues to the state and federal government, and we give people who need it from a medicinal perspective that, and recreationally, where am I missing that this is the devil's playground?
I agree. Again, to draw a correlation to alcohol, like, this is how capitalism works. People want it, and we say that in America, if you want it bad enough, you can buy it. And I don't get why we're in a place where this one is like, no, we can't do that. I think maybe it's correlation with other drugs, but like it is stunning to me that in the great American capitalist society that we have, there are people who are like, yeah, that crosses the line, that's too far. I'm like, really? Because guys, this stuff's on the cover of Time magazine. Like, I don't know.
It's traded on the New York Stock Exchange right now.
Yeah, like, so you're welcome to sit this one out. That's great, but like, I thought we were all about jumping on this stuff. This is potentially the next great cash crop, right?
I think so. And again, as we as a society, as we as people in America are screaming out to our politicians and political leaders to come together on something, can we just hold hands, put a little Pink Floyd on in the background,
Pass to the left,
find some common ground on this one?
Right.
I mean, Democrats win because we increase revenues to the federal government. Republicans win because we didn't do it by taxing citizens on their income, rather on their consumption.
But you're right. Regulation is important. If anything's going to happen, it's got to be something there. Even alcohol has regulations.
Yeah.
ATF.
Both parties realize that the cannabis the cartels are bad. This maybe helps us take a little notch out of their power.
Yeah.
Their revenue stream.
And who doesn't love that? For once, all Americans can come together united under one flag.
There we go.
A green one.
Should we all stand at attention? Hold hands over our heart. Listen, who would have thought that marijuana was a thing that would bring us all together? Maybe some people.
Some people.
Listen, this was fun. I love this. I love that we made a little fun of this topic. Andrew, thanks for letting us have a little fun at your expense. You brought some great information, by the way. Nobody cares. But no, I'm kidding. We cared. It was the. I appreciate you laying the foundation. That was very good.
Yeah. I thought it was good. Thank you for chipping in.
No, that was good stuff. I mean, listen, I think that this is something that needs to have a conversation about, and this is one of those things where, again, when it was brought up, and I think, Andrew, maybe you brought it up to me because it was a comment that was made of, hey, why don't you guys talk about this? I'm curious what y'all's take is on this. And I told Andrew, I was like, man, this one's going to be tough because I really don't have an opinion on this one. I don't really care. But maybe that's what this was all about. Maybe that's because this is one of those things where we can find common ground, right?
Yeah.
Right? I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. Fun show. Andrew,
I
made you
enjoyed
mad.
it.
I hurt your feelings.
Not at all.
Little wheels off
I'm just going
here.
to take some more Rocky Mountain High and relax.
One last final shot for the camera. Well, listen, for all those that were part of this one, thanks. All the folks here at Real News Communications. Zach, enjoyed it. Thanks for your commentary there. Andrew, I was joking. Great stats.
Absolutely.
I actually appreciated your commentary on this because I thought you made some very valid points. I enjoyed watching you and Zach because, again, if I want to learn more about this, I need to talk less about it because this is an area that I don't know. So I needed to hear what your thoughts were, and you guys kind of won me over on this. I don't know that I'm necessarily against this thing. I think if it's done in moderation and we can find a way to regulate to protect people from it. I'll make this one last statement before we dive into this last part. I talked to a friend of mine who is part of the Department of Public Safety here in Texas, and his commentary was, listen, I come up on auto accidents all the time with alcohol, and the challenge is when I pull somebody over who's been drinking, I can test them appropriately and know how long it's been since they likely were inebriated. But marijuana stays in somebody's systems for so long, they could be high or they could not be high, and it's hard to tell.
Yep.
Right? And that's another stat that you got there, probably.
Yeah. So Colorado, the way they do it is they actually have a blood measurement, but it's essentially up to the officer's discretion.
So there's some subjectivity here.
Yeah, they do a sobriety test,
Okay.
and if you clearly fail it, they will bring you in for blood testing, and they find out, are you beyond the 5? Hang on, I've actually got a number.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 5 nanograms of active THC in your blood system.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
So there's a measurable
I don't know.
out there.
I've never measured a joint, but I'm saying there is actually a number.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So-
Well, there you go. See, that's always been kind of my thing after I had this conversation with him, and this was a while back. I said, oh, you know what? Until we can figure that piece out, maybe that's right. Maybe there does need to be some halt on this deal.
Sure.
So, but if we figured it out, there you go.
Yes, yeah. I like I said, I still stumble over states' rights versus federal. I guess it's strange to me that.
In Texas?
So
Sir.
you half the people in the South that are still
Wow.
making that argument.
Yeah.
Well over 100 years
All right.
later, right?
You know, I'm
They're
just
still
gonna-
arguing states' rights over
yeah.
that. But that's another topic for another episode. This is one where the federal government has said this isn't up to the states, although the federal government's kind of keeping their hands off of it. So anyway, great conversation. Again, thanks, guys. I always learn from you guys, and so this was fun because I didn't. This just isn't one that's on the forefront of my brain, but obviously it's on the forefront of some of our listeners. So hopefully whoever it was that wrote that one in, I won't call you out by name, but I'm glad, hopefully that you got what you wanted out of this episode. And hopefully for those of you that fell on one side or the other on this, you've listened to maybe what the other side has said or at least come to another conclusion on this. So thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody that made this one fun. This was fun.
Definitely fun.
Thanks, my beautiful wife, Jenna, my wonderful daughters, Emerson and Arabella. Daddy loves you. Kids, don't smoke weed. There's your message from your daddy. All right.
2 steps forward. 1 step.
That's right.
So while I may be considering a number of things, I do know where I land on this one. When it comes to the marijuana debate, honestly, I really don't know where I land on this one. And that's okay. This is one of those areas where maybe it's okay if you haven't fully formulated your opinions. I've never tried marijuana, and while I know a lot of people who have and say positive things about it, it's a decision that I've just made not to do it. I've never tried it in edible form. I've never tried it in smoking form, and I've never tried it in any other form it comes in. And that's because it's illegal. It's illegal in the state that I live in, and it's illegal at the federal level, and for me, it's just not worth it. But do I want to try it? I don't know. I'm really not sure. I think it would be interesting to know what all the rage is about, but I haven't, and I likely won't, at least until it's legalized, and then maybe I'll consider it. I don't know. All that said, should it be legal? I mean, I don't know that either. I really do need more information on this, but today's show was a good movement in that direction. I want us as a society to, with an open mind, have a real conversation regarding this. Here's the thing. Are there worse things that are legal that you can do to yourself? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are. And if that's the case, why are those things legal and marijuana isn't? When it comes to the possibility of legalizing it, here are some things that I can get on board with. If there is a medical benefit to those that are suffering due to any illness, and marijuana can help their pain and suffering in any way, yeah, I can get on board with that. If legalizing it might take power away from the cartels, yep, okay, I'm on board with that one too. And finally, if legalizing marijuana might add bottom line revenue to the taxes of my state or the federal government, then maybe that's a perk we should consider. Hey, here's an idea. Let's legalize it, tax it, and use the proceeds to provide free health care to all children in the United States. Anybody want to oppose that idea? Either way, if we're going to consider legalization of marijuana, we must do so through a well-thought-out way that offers those who want to use it to do so in a way that is safe and not harmful to others. Marijuana is likely no more or less worse for you than alcohol, trans fats, or legal prescription drugs, which unfortunately, in today's society, many tend to shove down their throats each and every day. So let's have a real conversation. Let's put down the taboo and let's understand the science. Let's recognize that I can no better legislate your morality than I can anything else. And if you want to do something to yourself that isn't harming anybody else, okay, I'm willing to have that conversation. And at the end of the day, if it takes power away from the cartels, generates tax revenue, and could provide funding to help others, people are flat out just going to likely do it anyway. Let's find a way to protect everyone from it and do it right. Finding myself somewhere in the middle, I'm Seth Denson.